Hi, everybody. Welcome to exam 2 review session. So for the exam 2, we have chapter 11, chapter 12, and chapter 20. I decided to skip chapter 15. Therefore, you would not have it on the exam. So let's see what we are going to review in this chapter. So for chapter 11, which is related to supply chain management, it is important to learn the definition of supply chain management and also the different levels of the supply chain management, because this is part of the questions that you might have, either multiple choice type of question or true or false type of question. For example, we have a definition of each level. Make sure that you review those slides related to this chapter. A tier 2 supplier, what does it mean? Tier 1 supplier, manufacturer, distributor. So it's important to learn the definition of them. Another thing that is important is related to trade-off between cost and flexibility. Supply chain, if it's flexible, is more costly because they are dealing with the more variability. So it's important for them that respond fast to the market. Therefore, it would be more expensive for them. So the supply chain expertise in that company is trying to make a trade-off between should they be more flexible or should they save more money and less costly. Another important thing related to this chapter are the key cost metrics. It's important to know what are the main reasons for having a costly supply chain. The costs are coming from either procurement, that we are purchasing the material, or people who are working for us, labor, inventory because of the holding cost, and transportation costs. So these are the main key cost metrics of the supply chain. It's important to know them because you might have a multiple choice true false type of question related to this as well. And then the other thing is supply chain decision, what type of decision supply chain has. Tactical, which is day-to-day, is short-term. Strategic is long-term. And functional product, innovative product, these are important that you need to learn about them. So if you download the PPT file for each chapter, or either this one, the review chapter, you can see the definition of these on the note part of the slides. Another important thing is this table, is matrix. Based on the type of product we have, what type of supply chain suits better. For example, if we have a functional type of product, like those products that people are using them based on their daily use, it's better to have physically efficient supply chain, focusing on reducing the cost. But if the product is innovative, is new for the market, it's better to have a market responsive type of supply chain. So if the customer likes it, we produce more. If they don't like it, we would produce less, right? So you might have a multiple choice true false type of question from this slide as well. Another thing is, what are the main reasons that we have variability in supply chain? Because here are some of the reasons. Demand would be one of the reasons for the variability. There are other reasons. I didn't bring it in the slides, but make sure that you are reading them as well. Demand would be one of the reasons for variability. If demand was high or low. And also variability because of the product variety, and then variability due to the location. These are just parts of the slide. Again, make sure that you read the main chapter. And then what are the supply chain strategies? I might give you a question related to just like multiple choice true false related to supply chain strategies. Bring one of these, or like a few of these, and bring some different from this, and then I would say which one is not a supply chain strategy. Or for each one of these, we would have that true false type of question. So make sure that you read this slide carefully. Another important thing is, in this chapter, we have these formulas that are important. Again, you can have a cheat sheet. If it was an in-person exam, I would give you the formulas. If it's online exam, you should provide for yourself the cheat sheet, because the screen is locked and browser are locked, so you cannot do anything. So it's better to have the formula on the note for yourself. So We have this formulas. One of them is inventory on order. So I inventory O is index order. It's equal to lead time multiplied by average of the demand. We have inventory on hand. Hand H index is square root of lead time plus 1. Then the answer multiplied by standard deviation of the demand multiplied by Z score. So I usually, if I give you a question related to that, I would usually give you the Z score. If I don't give you the Z score and the exam is online and connect, then you would see the table related to the probability that is provided. So from probability that is provided, we can find the Z score in front of it. Another formula is holding cost per unit. So we have the holding cost that is given per unit multiplied by how much we have in hand, how much we have on order, divided by the average of the demand. Or we can calculate it like how much inventory we have, the total inventory, divided by flow rate. Either of this way, I would give you the flow rate or average of the demand and the holding cost per unit. So now we have chapter 12. One of the most important things that is discussed in chapter 12 is related to the EOQ model. So EOQ model is economic order quantity. I already talked, and you can watch the videos related to the chapter 12. Make sure that you understand this concept very well. So we have this again formulas for them. So it's make sure that you have these formulas. R is the demand rate, and it's given in the questions. Ordering cost is usually fixed ordering cost. We show it with K, and then holding cost, we show it with H, and then order quantity, we show it with Q. If I ask you what is the average inventory, you would have an order quantity divided by 2. Holding cost formula is holding cost per unit multiplied by the Q divided by 2. Sometimes I give you the Q, so you would just put in the formula. Sometimes I ask you to calculate that Q and then put that Q for calculating the cost. So make sure that you understand that very well. Ordering cost is fixed cost multiplied by demand rate divided by Q. And then how many orders we could have? Number of the orders is demand rate divided by the quantity that we are ordering. So this is the EOQ cost model, which the first one that has K in it is the ordering cost, and the second one that has H in it is a holding cost. And then how we calculate the Q is the square root of 2, which is a fixed number, multiplied by fixed ordering cost, multiplied by R, which is demand rate, divided by H, which is the holding cost. Another concept in chapter 12 is related to economies of scale. So basically saying that if we have a larger quantity, it's less costly for us. Bigger is cheaper. And then the other thing is product substitution. Sometimes customers are preferring to have certain type of product, but if they don't have that product or they cannot find that product, they go with the second option. So this we call it product substitution. This happens when people are willing to purchase a less preferred version of what they mostly prefer. Because that most preferred is not available, they buy this less preferred one. So these are just like some type of like, let me just highlight that. Multiple type of like this, some type of like concept that are could be true false type of question from them or multiple choice type of question from them. For example, when costs increase, demand also increase. Cost increase is slower than the demand, so these are important. When the cost increases, demand increases, but the cost increases is slower than demand increasing. A very large quantity may be optimal if the discount is small. So it says when you buy more, it's more optimal for you. Even if the discount is small, purchasing more still is more economically for you. And then also another important thing is companies, firms are more sensitive to price compared to the customer. So this type of question related to this type of sentences and concepts could be multiple choice or true false type of question. Now we are moving to chapter 20. Chapter 20 is related to innovative type of product. So it introduces us to the different type of innovation. So we would have a definition of the innovation. Is important to make sure that you understand that. And then opportunity identification, what does it mean? What does it mean, the definition of the opportunity? So you might have a multiple choice true false type of question related to that as well. We have different type of innovation, like innovation horizon, incremental innovation, radical innovation. Is important to understand them as well. And then if you remember in chapter 1, we had the utility for the customers, which is related to consumption utility, price, convenience. So for the consumption utility, we had the firm's fit and the performance. With the price, we had the price itself. Convenience, it was related to the time and location, if you wanted to buy it online or you want to buy it in person. And these are important things that users are considering them. So therefore, it's important to understand this as well. We have different type of needs. Make sure that you understand that. What is the hierarchical needs? What is the primary needs? Definition of them. What are the secondary needs and territorial needs? So these are important that we want to understand them, the definition of them. And then we have this canoe model that is very important. So performance needs is that just going straight, but we have the type of like definition of the customers. We call them delighter, when they are not expecting something, but when they are seeing it, they are really satisfied and very excited about it. We have the must-have type of like needs, because customer needs to see that in their product when they are buying it. If they don't see it, they get mad and dissatisfied about it. And how we can collect the information from to understand about customers' needs. There are several ways. I just brought the last one, focus group, but we had interview surveys, like they interview customers, learning about their needs. Focus group was a group of people that they are 4 or 8 customers that they usually are very loyal to the brand, and then they are just sitting with them talking about what is their needs, and then they answer the question. And then based on what they are gathering, they can forecast the sale. So if I bring this new product, what happens? Customer would like it or not? And then sometimes they give a survey to the customer, and then predict the forecast. So that's related to chapter 20. You might have a multiple choice true false type of question related to this concept as well. The good news is you have only few formulas for chapter, which is related to chapter 11 and chapter 12. One formula for chapter 11, and then 1 or 2 formula for chapter 12. And then for chapter 20, you don't have any formula or mathematical problem. So it's all about learning the concept. So the practices that you have and the assignment that you had would help you to be prepared for the exam. But if you have any question, just let me know about it. That's it.